The early years of childhood shaped your close-knit family. Over a decade, our family grew big, and we've always meant it when we call it a small family. Just a little while ago, the royal family shocked everyone with an announcement no one expected. Rumors had been swirling for weeks. There was a lot of talk, nerves, and a quiet feeling that something was coming. Now it's official. From inside palace walls, a surprise emerged that's already sending shockwaves through Buckingham Palace and beyond. Whether you're a dedicated royal fan or a casual watcher, this moment marks a shift. Everything is about to change behind the crown. Stay tuned because we're digging into the story that's grabbing the world's attention. We'll explore how William and Kate quietly changed what power looks like in royalty. It didn't start with a grand display, but with a message so brief, it seemed more like a placeholder than a real statement. A formal note was scheduled for 6 p.m., with no details, no names, and no emotion. Still, those few words posted calmly on the official royal site and shared on social media triggered a huge response across the country. Within minutes, headlines ran wild with guesses. Was this the end of an era? Did something happen to the king? Rumors of stepping down or issues quickly spread. Reporters rushed to Buckingham Palace. Newsrooms scrambled to keep up. Commentators filled the airwaves with every possible idea except the truth. Still, the palace stayed silent. At exactly 6, the screen flickered. It showed no grand scenes or royal displays, just a simple shot of William and Kate. They sat in what looked like a modest room in Kensington. No symbols of the palace, no guards, just two people facing the camera with calm strength. The simple setting was no accident. The mood was clear and very different. William spoke first, his voice steady and clear. He made it plain that the monarchy is more than just a symbol. He called it a responsibility. During uncertain times, we must question if we are truly serving the people or just upholding the system. Then Kate stepped forward, not only with grace, but with a new sense of purpose people hadn't seen before. She declared that this was no longer about titles or tradition. It was about trust. The moment called for building something fresh, something that reflects those they serve, not just the old institution. What happened wasn't a resignation or a coronation. It was a bold change, a shift in direction. The couple announced a major overhaul of their royal roles. They would now act with more independence, focusing on empathy, modern leadership, and being accountable to the public. At the core of this change was the Diana Initiative, a tribute to William's mother, Princess Diana. Led by Kate, the foundation aimed to support causes related to humanity, healing, and progress. King Charles still wore the crown and Camilla kept her title. But as the lights dimmed, one message was loud and clear. The future of the monarchy looked nothing like the past. In that moment, power subtly shifted, not through drama, but dignity. The world watched, realizing they were witnessing the start of a new type of reign. Behind royal titles and tradition, a quiet but powerful change was happening, one that said everything without a word. Stay tuned. This is just the start of William and Kate redefining what it means to serve as royals. Building on that moment, what they offered was more than an update. They challenged centuries of tradition. For years, royal news followed a set script: big words, fancy ceremonies, and distance from the public. But this time, they broke the mold entirely. They didn't just make a statement. They showed a new vision that questioned how monarchy works. This was the first step toward what the media later called the modern monarchy plan. It aimed to close the growing gap between the royal family and the people. William admitted that the distance was too great. Clinging to old ways just wasn't enough anymore. He said they couldn't serve today's world with yesterday's rules. Their leadership would come from being real and present. Unlike the usual royal path filled with events and symbolism, William and Kate promised to do more. They focused on causes that matter today: climate change, mental health, better maternal care, and equal access to education. For the first time in memory, senior royals publicly stepped back from tradition. They chose to make a real difference instead of just putting on a show. Kate's announcement touched everyone deeply. She revealed she had started the Diana Initiative, a global foundation that keeps Princess Diana's legacy of kindness and bold speaking alive. Her story doesn't end with her life, Kate said calmly, but with strong emotion. It continues in those who see kindness as strength, refuse to stay quiet, and choose to care even when the world feels cold. She promised to lead the effort herself, meeting survivors, speaking for the vulnerable, and making sure Diana's true spirit stays part of the royal story. This was more than a tribute. It felt like a renewal. Some insiders sensed a quiet shift of power and purpose that challenged the old idea of the monarchy. Reclaiming a legacy that once seemed gone, William and Kate were quietly changing their roles, and in turn, the monarchy itself. One act of kindness and bravery at a time. But behind the scenes, other subtle moves could change royal life forever. Stay alert. These changes are just beginning. William and Kate's honesty has shaken the palace. Their words flow naturally from their move to redefine royal duty. Their next steps will push the monarchy into unfamiliar territory. They promised to be open about their work in charities, their spending, and their public visits. For many years, royal family members kept everything secret. Their image was protected by careful stories. But William knows that era is over. He says trust grows in the light of openness. Their promise goes beyond words. William and Kate will release yearly reports about their projects and money. They also plan for outsiders to audit the Diana Initiative and their other roles. This kind of openness is new for the royal family. It's a bold step toward honesty. Almost at once, social media buzzed with praise. Many called it a real shift into today's world, an act based on truth and connection, not just tradition. Yet, what stood out most wasn't the praise or the media fuss. It was the silence from Buckingham Palace. King Charles and Queen Camilla gave no words of approval or congratulations. They posted no family photos or warm messages on official accounts. Their quiet response stood in stark contrast to William and Kate's bold move. The announcement seemed to go around royal approval completely. It was a clear break from usual palace procedures. Inside, the mood shifted quickly. Instead of celebration, a cold feeling spread through the historic halls. The plan itself was neither shocking nor wrong. It was polished, well thought out, and received wide support. But revealing it without the king's approval struck at the core of royal rules. To them, it was almost a sin. Reports say Charles watched the broadcast from Clarence House, surprised and stunned. He simply asked, "What did they do?" His shock wasn't only from William and Kate taking on bigger roles. It was how they did it, publicly, confidently, without his go-ahead. This kind of boldness was what Charles's reign had avoided. It was raw, direct, and connected with the people. It also felt risky, unpredictable. For Queen Camilla, it hit harder. Kate's speech about the Diana Project, framed not just as a tribute, but as a reclaiming of a silenced truth, felt like a pointed challenge. Camilla had spent years trying to change her image, from the other woman to queen consort. Yet, in moments, Kate's words revived Diana's image with such strength that it reignited the public's deep feelings for the princess. This made people feel close again to William and Kate. Palace insiders say Camilla was visibly upset. She is believed to have said she was trying to bring Diana back as a queen from beyond the grave. Behind closed doors, officials scrambled to find a response, but they faced a tough choice. Any criticism might look petty or out of touch. It could hurt the monarchy's image, especially while support for William and Kate was high. In the end, the palace chose to stay silent. That silence said a lot. Still, it was not peace. Charles's frustration was clear to those close to him. He saw the announcement as an early move for power. He worried it might steal his thunder, but he knew confronting his son openly could tear the family apart. So he held back. William's support was growing, and Charles didn't want to lose that. What started as a promise of honesty also showed a deeper split in the royal family. It was a quiet fight between old ways and new ideas, between control and freedom. It was about old crowns and new ones waiting to be worn. Kate's quiet change from a duchess to a queen for the people. William and Kate continued to build on the bold steps they had already taken. A quiet but strong shift started to spread within Kensington Palace. Rumors among royal helpers hinted at a new center of influence. It wasn't the throne, but Kate herself who was gaining power. Some people felt uneasy. Her growing independence challenged tradition, while others saw it as a welcome change that matched what the public wanted. Throughout this shift, William and Kate stayed focused. At a mental health center in Manchester, she met quietly with teenage girls recovering from trauma. There were no speeches or cameras, just honest listening and respectful chats. One girl said, "She didn't look down on us. She made eye contact like a friend, not a royal." Later, Kate showed up unexpectedly at a women's shelter in Birmingham. Photos showed her comforting a woman affected by domestic violence. No royal distance, just kindness and presence. Each act sent a clear message, not to the media, but to the people. I see you, I listen, I am with you. At the same time, the Diana Initiative moved ahead. Kate started a foundation, offering free counseling for young people who had lost loved ones. She openly referenced the loss William and Harry faced. She also announced an international meeting on women's health. It was a bold step for a senior royal to take publicly. But her biggest moment came at a televised town hall in Cardiff. Speaking off the cuff, she said, "We are not here to rule from above. We are here to walk side by side. If we forget that, we don't deserve the people's trust." The room grew quiet. At that moment, Kate did something no campaign or royal event could do. She showed the humanity of the monarchy. The press loved her. The public adored her. Her approval rating soared higher than Diana's peak in the 1990s. But behind the palace walls, tension grew. Old traditions clashed with new ideas. A quiet duchess was taking on a role far beyond what was expected. The crown's future was no longer about bloodlines or rules. It focused on connection, kindness, and leading with heart. Kate Middleton became exactly what the monarchy needed, the people's queen. Yet, what followed wasn't announced with fanfare. It appeared in small, quiet acts that changed the royal story little by little. Watch closely. The crown's quiet change. How Kate made the throne change without fuss. When the spotlight shifted, it wasn't a quick glance. It was a sign of something bigger happening in the monarchy. The public's love, once mostly for the king and queen, slowly moved to someone new. Kate Middleton didn't want a crown or throne. Still, she captured something even more important: trust and genuine love. These were the qualities Diana had left behind. Many saw her as a true queen, even without a formal title. Behind palace walls, this shift shook old traditions and those who protected them. King Charles III waited decades for his turn to rule. But his reign isn't what he expected. Instead of respect, it feels more like watching from the sidelines. His son and daughter-in-law seem to take the lead. William and Kate act boldly and openly. Their moves are often unplanned and unfiltered. Their actions sent shockwaves through the palace. It became clear that the future of the monarchy would no longer be controlled from the throne alone. Camilla, often in the shadow of her predecessor, felt this change deeply. Years of building her image through charity work hadn't helped lessen the memory of Diana. When Kate openly honored Diana's legacy, Camilla saw it as a challenge. It was more than a tribute. It was a claim on the heart of the people, the place Camilla had longed for. Behind closed doors, palace insiders said tension simmered beneath attempts at unity. Charles listened carefully. His advisors warned against fighting William and Kate. They told him it would only push him farther from the people's love. Public opinion already saw Kate as the one to watch. Many saw her as a symbol of hope and honesty. But privately, Charles felt a sense of loss, not of rivalry, but of a moment slipping away. His long-awaited coronation felt less important. His reign seemed smaller under the shadow of a new story. It was one where tradition gave way to everyday connection. While Charles and Camilla focused on tradition, ceremonies, and official duties, the public's feelings were shifting elsewhere. Their crowns symbolized authority, but they felt disconnected from the people's true spirit. Kate and William, with their sincerity and modern values, proved that the monarchy could change. In this change, power moved quietly from the monarchy to the people's trust and hopes. Behind royal walls, a quiet shift was taking place. The world watched as Prince William made his announcement with calm, royal composure. But underneath, a determined storm was brewing. He wanted to change not only his own future, but the essence of the monarchy itself. While Buckingham Palace worked to control the emotional waves, William remained steady. His actions were not reckless, but a clear break from painful history. William had long carried a heavy silence, one that hurt his mother, Princess Diana, and threatened those he loved. Unlike typical royal diplomacy, William refused to soften his message or retreat. Privately, he told his advisors he preferred rebuilding trust over hiding secrets. This belief hadn't come overnight. It was shaped over years of watching the palace hide grief behind fake smiles and staged images. He saw Camilla's image polished by marketing rather than humility, and Kate expected to keep a perfect mask under intense scrutiny. No more. William's vision was clearer than ever. He declined attempts to cover old wounds and refused to combine Diana's legacy with traditional royal efforts. He insisted her causes stay independent, honest, and real. His change wasn't just public. Behind the scenes, William reached out to younger royals pushed aside by family politics. He invited them to help redefine service. His visit to Frogmore Cottage to meet Princess Beatrice was more than kindness. It was a step toward unity. Beatrice, still dealing with family secrets, had become a symbol of strength and truth. William reassured her she didn't need silence or blind loyalty to belong. Her place depended on honesty. He also contacted Princess Eugenie, whose relationship with the family had grown cold, and Zara Tyndall, to build stronger bonds. William also connected with Duchess Sophie, Countess of Wessex. She's often overlooked, but she has a quiet strength. Sophie was seen as a key part of this change. William saw her as more than just polite company. He wanted her as a partner in a new way of thinking. Her experience helped him balance respect for tradition with new ideas. This growing network of young royals showed a quiet shift in the palace. William knew the future of the monarchy depends on much more than family ties or silent obedience. It needs trust, honesty, and a readiness to face hard truths. Only then can it truly serve the people and earn their respect. As this quiet change grew stronger, the atmosphere in the palace slowly shifted. The time of hidden pain and kept secrets was giving way to one filled with bravery and belief. Prince William's leadership wasn't just about getting ready to wear the crown. It was about changing the soul of the monarchy, promising a future where legacy becomes a promise kept, not a weight to carry. But what kind of quiet rebellion is William truly leading? One that quietly shifts power without a single word. Stay with us to see how William and Kate transformed the monarchy. Just as the fuss around William's quiet rebellion started to fade, something deeper began to take shape. No big speeches, no grand fanfare, just subtle changes that told their own story. Without changing the official hierarchy, a new energy started moving through royal circles. Requests for charity work shifted from Buckingham Palace to Kensington. Media stories, once focused on Charles and Camilla, naturally turned to William and Kate. It wasn't a coup. It was real chemistry, something the public instinctively responded to. William didn't need to command this change. He simply embodied it. While others clung to the old ways and names, he knew that true lasting impact is about purpose. By supporting Kate's quiet strength, standing up for his mother's truth, and showing kindness, he brought something fresh to the royal family, something genuine. When the palace teased a big royal announcement, most expected a formal event. Instead, they got something meaningful. William and Kate didn't just follow tradition. They rewrote it with honest emotion, rarely seen behind palace walls. Their message wasn't about spin or fake smiles. It was about real experience turned into conviction. Kate didn't just speak of duty, she honored Diana's memory and stepped into her shoes with grace. She turned her grief into guidance. In this shift, William made a bold move for a future king. He stepped aside, not in title but in ego. He let his wife shine, not as just a royal figure, but as a guide for what's to come. Together, they're redefining service, not as an act, but as their presence. This new pace was not lost on others either. Behind the scenes, William quietly reached out to family members who felt left out or pushed aside. Beatrice, still hurt from family betrayals, found an unlikely ally in William. Zara, he worked to rebuild trust. He also connected with Uene, who had drifted from the family. Most importantly, He reached out to Duchess Sophie, known as a bridge across generations, and offered her real respect and relevance. This wasn't about forming a new group. It was about tying the family together with shared ideas and values. A family no longer only bound by blood, but by common beliefs, able to speak freely without fear. Though Charles remained king and Camilla stayed by his side, the monarchy was already changing quietly. The real power was no longer just behind crowns, but beside a woman who listens first, speaks second, and always serves. Kate became the caring heart the royal family had lost. Calm, steady, and true. William showed that leading isn't about control, but about lifting others up. No throne was taken away. No line of succession was thrown off. But to the public, something changed forever. The monarchy didn't fall. It started to feel alive again. All it took was one small decision that made a bigger impact than any royal decree. So, what do you think really shifted behind palace walls? Was this a subtle power move from William and Kate, or the start of a new royal chapter? We want to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe.